Good day to everyone. Good day, and welcome to another episode of Kingdom Men in Action, keyword action. And we thank you for joining us today. And before we get started, I ask my brothers out there, please do me a favor. Please hit the like, share, leave a review so that amazing people like you can find this podcast out there in the little algorithm things and help promote this podcast so other people can find us as well. And I thank you in advance for that. All right. Today's episode, I am excited. Men, uh, up until this point, we've been talking about different things that we can do as men to be better men in the kingdom of God. But I wanted to take a break from all that because as men, we have three things that I think we should focus on as men. And those things would be physical health, your spiritual health, and last but not least, your mental health. All three of these things are very vital for you to be the best that you can be. Any one of those, if there's not up to its best potential, will give you issues and things of that nature as you try to perform and do the things that you do on a normal basis. We're all under a lot of stress. We're all in demand. We're all having multiple tasks to do. And so we need to make sure that as men and people in general are making sure they're taking care of themselves. And these are three areas that definitely needs attention to make sure that they are all in some kind of balance. So today I'm excited because I have a dear friend of mine that I happen to have met in starting this podcast, and then she was doing her podcast, and her name is Katie Ballanco, her host and creator of the Lavender Mind Podcast. And I listened to that podcast, and that's what gave me the inspiration to do this interview because she has great, great, great information to pass on for your mental health. So let me bring her in right now since I'm doing all the talking, and let's welcome in Miss Katie. How you doing, Katie?
Oh, I'm doing great, James. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, and I feel the same way about your podcast. It's a great thing for all the men in my life and for myself. I love the work you're putting out there. It's so needed, and I'm just honored to be here.
Oh wow. Well, thank you, man. Well, I say the same for yours too. And so I'm glad that you was able to take time out. So let's just go ahead and get you introduced to the audience. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself and what led to you creating the Lavender Mind podcast.
Yeah, well, my name is Katie Ballanco. As you said, I think God led me here. I definitely kind of fought that for a few years, but it started when I was really little. So I am a mindfulness mindset coach, all things wellness I love, and I've gotten as many certifications as I possibly can to be educated in those areas. But it started when I was really little. When I was a little girl, I had leukemia, and I used back in the day, we didn't really call it mindfulness, but I used a lot of mindfulness to manage my pain and probably anxiety back in the day through visualizations and breath work. And then fast forward, just as a mom, I noticed the foods that we were eating. I just felt like a lot of it was messing with my family. And so I started to take deep dives in not only self development, but wellness with food. And so I got life coaching, health coaching, and all that good stuff. And so that's what I teach. And then also, I had a handmade business with lavender aromatherapy. So I just kind of took it all together and made a big quilt out of it. And that's how Lavender Mind began. Back in February, you and I joined our awesome class and got to meet one another there. So it's been a really fun adventure, a little scary at times,
Yes.
but what started this business, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I am so happy, and I know God has great plans for you moving forward to help and touch a lot of people with your information and teaching. So, well, that's great. So let's get started. And so I brought you on because I wanted to give men the tools for them to be able to um, keep their mental health in balance. With the stress of everyday life, work, jobs, family, um, volunteering, whatever people are doing, you tend to forget about yourself, and things will start to stress you out, and things of that nature. And so, I wanted to bring you on so that you can give us some tools that would help us be better men as we serve in our communities and our family and things of that nature. So, I'm gonna turn it over to you and you're going to give us some vital information. So, men, you're listening, take notes, and also we'll also be leaving a link to her podcast in the description, so you can go ahead and link to her. You can save it, follow her, so that you can get her daily podcast episodes. So, we're going to turn it over to you, Katie.
All right. So I'm a teacher, so I like to make things easy to remember. I'm going to use an acronym so that it's just easy for us to. So you can take notes, but you probably won't need to. I adapted this from someone that I follow. His name is Jim Quick. He does a lot of brain research, and keeping our brains fresh and as healthy as possible is one of my big pillars, because our mind, our body, and spirit are all connected. And I think that we forget that sometimes because we get really busy. And so my acronym is MEDS-RX, MEDS RX. And what I want everybody to remember about this is these are free things. None of this costs money. You can do this every day to elevate your mental health and well-being. And so the M it stands for mindfulness, but that doesn't mean that you have to meditate. I do believe, and especially with all the research out on meditation, it is a great thing if that resonates with you. But this can also mean your prayer life, your quiet time with God, reading the Bible, anything that you can bring, especially first thing in the morning. If you start your routine, your daily intentions with that quiet time, that mindfulness in the morning, it really sets us up for success. And I know we all live very busy lives, but if you can carve that out, that really changes your day. And so that's M. The E is for exercise. If we can get 20 to 30 minutes a day, it really elevates our mood. It helps our hearts, our brain health, and it doesn't really matter what type of movement you incorporate in your life, even if it's walking, swimming, whatever you enjoy. But 20 to 30 minutes every day really can make such a difference in your mental health, especially. And then the D is for diet. I'm from the South. I love a little fried chicken, but we can't eat that all the time.
Come on now. I mean, you hurt me there on the fried chicken.
I'm sorry. It hurts to say that, but we have to have that balance. You can have fried chicken maybe on Sunday after church.
Okay.
But for the rest of the week, a few foods that I'll name right now are so good for our brains. And those are, these foods bring antioxidants, and they are actually known to reduce anxiety. So maybe jot these down. This is important. Those leafy greens are really good for your mindset and your mental health. Blueberries, papaya, those clean proteins like chicken and omega-3 fish are so good for your body. And that just kind of helps us to have more energy and to show up our best for our family and our jobs. So got to have a little balance. I'm not saying you can't ever have that fried chicken, because I know I'm going to have it. I may have some this weekend. I don't know. Okay. And then the S in MEDSRX is for sleep. This is a biggie, especially we have all the screen time late at night, and that is really messing with our sleep and it's causing more anxiety. And so, a big way to reduce that is actually such a simple technique. It's very researched, but if you can put your screen away, put your screen away, and also have gratitude at night. Think of three things that you are grateful for, and also think of some wins for that day. So, this is a great evening routine, your night routine, just to remember some wins for the day. And this has been very studied and researched, and it actually helps people sleep better. Such a simple technique. And once you get in that mindset of thinking about your wins and thinking about what you have versus what you don't have with gratitude, thanking God for all the things you have at night, this is something that really reduces anxiety. Because if not, we get on that negative thought loop and we can replay things that we maybe didn't like during the day. So that's a very helpful tip. And then the R is for our relationships. Just always remembering to try and make sure our relationships are lifting us up. Sometimes people can maybe cause us to maybe not make the best decisions. So I'm not saying that those people need to be out of our life, but definitely taking an inventory and making sure your relationships, you have good community and like-minded people. Maybe you find that with your church. Maybe, our mastermind is full of amazing people that are just really positive.
Yes.
Always surrounding yourself with people that lift you up and making sure that you lift them up as well. Making sure you pay attention to the words coming out of your mouth, making sure you pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking, because that is really what shapes our lives, is our thoughts and our words and what we're focusing on. So that the relationship is a biggie. And then the X stands for extra. Anything that you enjoy that you can add to your wellness routine. Breath work is one. Volunteering can elevate our wellness. Anytime we go out in nature, if we're having a really tough day, if we're feeling very anxious, taking a minute to just go outside and look around and just be thankful. That's a big helpful one. And also another one that I didn't mention with the diet, but definitely making sure you're staying hydrated. That can really make a difference as well. And again, all these things are free. It's not real meds. This is like the meds that we can give ourselves every day. And then the main thing that I really like to focus on with my podcast and students that I work with are just, it's such a simple concept that I think we forget about it, but just remembering that all we have is this moment. It's present moment awareness, and just not focusing on what happened 5 years ago or yesterday, because that's over, and not stressing out over all the details of future events. We can plan, but we don't have to stay in that state of stress over things that happened in the past or the future, but just always remembering that all we really have is this moment. And so we show up our best, because sometimes our kids or family or coworkers are talking to us, and we live in a very distracted world and we're really not present with people. And so really being present in the moment you're in, whether you're working or speaking to someone, just remembering to be in the moment that you're in. It's a very simple concept, but I think when it's really applied and practiced, it not only reduces a ton of anxiety, but it also really affects our relationship in an amazing way, because the art of really being present with people is kind of lost. So when somebody really listens to what you have to say,
Yes,
you're
yes.
like, wow.
I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for not checking your messages while we had this conversation. Um, yeah, sadly, but it's true. So
Yes.
those are my little tips. I hope they help. They have been pillars in this whole podcast that I've started, and so that's what I have for you today, James.
Well, I love it. I love it, and especially the in the moment. I think it was an episode ago you was talking about that on your podcast, and it just so resonated with me. You're right. Um, I can't do nothing about the past, and I definitely can't predict the future because it might not even be here. But to focus my energy in this moment, like right now, in this moment, we're having this podcast, this interview, and this is what we're focusing on. And I'm getting enjoyment out of this. I'm getting information out of this. This is what's happening now. So this is where my time and attention is. But like you said, sometimes we're distracted. You're talking, and I could have had my phone up, checking a message or whatever the case might be. But just taking that time to, even with your fam, especially like when you're with family, um, I'll tell anybody because, and I know you've seen this. Now you're out eating at a restaurant and you're supposed to be out enjoying one another. And me and my wife will look around at different tables, and these people are on this, they're on their cell phone. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why did you come out if you're not even going to have a conversation? And the sad thing is, a lot of times it'd be a family of maybe four, have the kids, and all of them are on their cell phone. And I'm thinking to myself, we're in bad shape. We can't even come out for a night, an evening, or family time without the distractions of the world. So that when you said that in your podcast, that really resonated with me, and I've really made it a point to follow that. So men get that point that you have to live in this moment, whatever that may be, and especially when it comes to family. But this is great. I love the acronym that you put with everything because the exercise is definitely important. I talk about that. Um, I didn't realize just 20 minutes a day. That's good. I just go for my walk then. Um, but the exercise, it helps, and the diet. But let me ask you this about the dieting too. So in your experiences or how you in your line of work, the greens. Now, do you find it better to do the greens? Um, some people they like to cook their vegetable, whatever. I've been juicing more lately with the greens. And then I know you can get it in the powder form and mix it with you. Is anyone kind of better than the other, or they're all good alternatives?
No, I think they're all good alternatives. And I mean, the thing with all of this is just consistency and, whether it's a powder, because we live very busy lives. I mean, I know some days, like I love to cook greens, but, some weeks I have to rely on a powder or, juicing is nice because you can take it with you to work or whatever. So any way you can get those greens because they add all those good antioxidants that are
Hmm.
so good for your mind, body, and spirit. This, it really elevates our mood. So any way you can add those greens into your life.
Okay. Okay, just checking. I'm trying to do the right thing. So I was happy when you had mentioned that. So okay, well at least I'm on the right track. So we're good.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about sleep. Now that has been my biggest issue. Not getting enough sleep. I think I'm in a better pattern now. What I was actually rolling with, if I was getting maybe 4 hours a night, I was good. Um, and this is like getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning, have to be at work at 3 and working into the afternoon. Then I get off. run around trying to take care of things. And so they say you're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep. Well, that means I'd have to lay down at 6 o'clock. Okay, that's not happening. 6, 7 o'clock just not work for me with all the stuff that I have to do. So normally it's like 8 or 9 o'clock. Then I'm even laying down. But I had noticed that it was affecting me so bad,
Mm.
just mood wise, um, brain fog, just able to function was becoming a problem. And so I really had to work on that. So I'm getting more sleep now, and I actually see the difference that I can now at least function without being so tired all day long. So I'm glad you had that in your acronym because that is a key. Everything in this acronym is very important, but that sleep too. You got to give your body the time to rest and repair itself so that you can go on. Because if you don't give your body that, it's just going to keep burning till it burns itself out. And then God is going to put you down if you don't put yourself down. He's going to put you down. So I appreciate that bringing that sleep in.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention with the diet, but it also can affect your sleep is sugar. Sugar is so well disguised in a lot of our foods, and paying attention to the sugar intake, especially late at night. Of course, caffeine late at night is another one, but sometimes intake of sugar late at night can cause you to stay up. So just making sure your evening food and drink does not have a lot of sugar.
Got you. Speaking of that though, um, so what's your recommendation as far as how late to eat? Because I know a lot of experts say that, by 6 o'clock, cut it off. Um, Maybe 3 hours before you decide to lay down, you shouldn't eat or what the case might be. What's your recommendation on that?
I like the 3 hour rule because all that digestion can also keep you up at night. That's another thing that does affect our sleep. So, really, just a rule that way, if you do have a little bit of sugar and it's 3 hours before your body has time to metabolize it and not be affected, because like you said, it's so important to have good sleep. It really does repair our mental health, our bodies. We really, sleep is so important.
I got you. I got you. Okay. Yeah, I that was another thing too about working late, doing stuff at a late time. Um, Normally about an hour before I would lay down, I would eat something, but that's not good to lay down to go to sleep on a full stomach. I'm just letting you know. Ask me how I know. It doesn't work. So
Oh, I get it. And also, I had mentioned before, but the screens late at night, and I know that's so hard, but if you can, um, reduce your screen time right before bed. Studies are showing that that really does affect our sleep as well. And I guess I always say, try it in your life if, because I know like some of my family members really like to kind of relax with watching a little bit of TV before bed. So whatever works, if you're able to do that and able to fall asleep, then you're okay. But I do read so much that screens right before bed are also causing a lot of insomnia.
I can believe it, especially if you watch a bunch of crazy mess. So yeah, it'll keep you up because you get excited and you got your brain racing and you're
Yeah.
supposed to be trying to calm down, but your brain is like going 100 miles a minute. So yeah, I understand about the screen time. Well, I guess we have to start. So we have to start developing good habits. Good habits we have to develop. And I have found out if it's something that you really consider a good habit, after about 30 days, it'll be a habit. If you really you do it every day, you just do it, make yourself do it. And about 30 days, you'll be doing it automatically. And you'll just keep doing it. And I mean, because it's some stuff that I've actually had to make myself do. And usually about the 30th day, I'm automatically doing it because it's now a habit. And so these are great, great habits to work on. If you're not doing them, Just start to where you're doing it automatically. Your mind is already in rhythm and routine to do it automatically to get those good habits in. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Katie?
I love that because I love that phrase, tiny hinges swing big doors. And if you do these little, it seems little at the time, this can make a huge impact on your life, especially your morning routine and your evening routine. It really can impact your entire day and how you show up for everybody. So 100%.
I got you. I got you. Well, I tell you, I knew this was going to be an excellent interview. I knew you was going to come bring it. You was going to bring some great suggestions and great tips for us to use. So as we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add? Anything you might want to go back over that's going to benefit us to doing having better mental health?
Uh, I like to beat this horse of present moment awareness. I'm going to say it one more time because it really does make a difference. Just really remembering and reminding ourselves that all we have is this moment and just really trying to show up with that because it really reduces so much anxiety throughout our day. And I know on your podcast, you talk about our relationship with God, and that is so important. So just this is something that you could add to all the beautiful things that you're giving to this world. But just really remembering that we shouldn't waste any time because we only have the moment that we're in. I think that really just helps to reduce a lot of anxiety.
I'm with you, sister. I'm with you, and I'm definitely going to add that to what I talk about because it just, I think once you really kind of chew on that for a minute, it makes sense because it even says in his words that you should just focus on today because tomorrow will take care of itself, and we would probably eliminate a lot of anxiety just dealing with the moment, just what's going on now and once you have accomplished that, and that's taken care of, then we can move on to the next thing. But trying to, I think we've been bamboozled with this multitasking. Uh, you can have it all. You can, yeah, no, it's a lie. You can't. I'm telling you, you can't. I'm telling you from experience you can't have it all. Something's going to lack. Something's going to fall down. It's just next to impossible because you're only one person and you can only do so much. So either you're going to focus on one thing at a time and make that happen, or you just going to get frustrated because you're going to have 10 doors open and nothing's going to get accomplished. So I'm with you, Katie, on that one. Definitely. We'll both push that on both our ends.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of noise out there. You have to really be careful what you're listening to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wow. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. And we've been talking to Miss Katie Ballanco. She is the creator and host of the Lavender Mind Podcast. And there'll be a link to her podcast in the description when this gets posted. So just scroll down and you'll see a link to her podcast. Click it, go over there. You want to save it, share it, follow her, leave a review, all that good stuff to help build her podcast up as well. So, again, Katie, thank you. Thank you. We've been talking about this and we finally made it happen. So, I thank God for that. And I thank God for you and your mission for giving people better tools in order to have better health mentally and physically and just have a better balance of life.
Oh, thank you, James. It's been such a pleasure. Same to you. Keep
All
keep bringing it to the world. Everybody needs it.
right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, brothers, that's going to be it for this episode. Again, share, like, leave a review so that amazing people like you can find this podcast. And until the next time, this is Brother Parker talking to you from the Kingdom Men in Action podcast. Ooh, I'm tongue tied today. Kingdom Men in Action podcast. And again, thank you, Katie, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, James. Take care.
All right, you too. We're out of here, and we'll see you on the next episode.